Welcome to another edition of the Invisible Wheelchair Podcast. I'm Donald Grodoff, family coach with FamilyOCD.com and FocusedHealthyFamily.com. In the Invisible Wheelchair Podcast series, I delve into the hidden characteristics of OCD, anxiety, and anxiety disorders. The things that most people don't see, that are behind closed doors and shut within the mind about anxiety. My goal with these podcasts is to bring about awareness of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, or OCD. Understand that I am not a doctor, therapist, or counselor, and the content, information, resources, and ideas that are talked about and brought up here in these podcasts are things that I have used, discovered, or have been recommended to me, and I always recommend to seek additional professional help in finding solutions for yourself. Thank you for listening and enjoy the podcast. This podcast was recorded December 4th, 2017. This is a special podcast. It is the end of the year 2017, and we are doing the best of the Invisible Wheelchair Podcast. You know, it's been such an exciting thing for me to be able to do this. I've really enjoyed doing this, and it took a while to get this to a place of doing. So this has been a tremendous year of getting this out there, getting myself placed out there for OCD, hopefully doing some advocacy for OCD and those that suffer from it, and getting this podcast out there to get the awareness up. That was my big goal in this, is getting the awareness out there of what OCD is, and I think we've done that. We started in May of this year, 2017. And we actually had one of the best months was October, which of course had OCD Week within it. And we did over 800 downloads. So what I decided to do is, over this coming week of December 26th through the 31st, I've decided to play back some of what I consider the best of the podcasts we've done. So what you will get each day, starting the 26th, you will get a replayed podcast that we did previously, and it's some of the stuff I found to be the most interesting, the best received, that kind of thing. You know, this week, this month, this year has been a year of getting that information out, getting involved. I actually attended a meeting with the North Carolina OCD Foundation. And this coming year, I hope to actually attend the OCD conference in Washington, D.C. I'd have to look at the dates. I'll have to put that out at another time. But, you know, we've talked about OCD. I've defined it, hopefully in fairly layman's terms, because, again, I'm not a doctor. And we actually talked about some of the ways that it shows up. And we talked about things about the brain and how the brain functions, because I think that's fascinating, and I think that's where a lot of this is happening. So this coming year brings about even more, I think, kind of exciting things, but we're going to talk about, in the coming year, we're going to talk about ways to overcome OCD and what you can do to change it, manage it. Again, I don't believe OCD is a curable kind of thing. I think it is something that person has to live with probably the rest of their life, but it becomes very manageable, and the person can live a full and happy life. So that's the best part about OCD, really, is that it is manageable. It is something that you can get past. So some of the highlights that are going to come up for this week, well, we're going to be playing again one of my proudest moments, and that was my interview with my daughter and how far she has come in what she's been doing. And what's the proud part for me is to know that, some years ago, like 2012, 2013, my daughter couldn't even say the letters OCD without going into a fit of rage. Oh my. Um, and to hear her in the interview talk about what it was like, to talk about things that can be done, to give advice was a proud moment for me, and I think for her too. I think the fact that she was able to talk about it makes a big difference for her. So we'll have that. We're going to have Dr. Jericho, who is one of I kind of call him my guru of OCD here locally in Charlotte, but I know he does things all over the country, maybe even international. I'm just kind of getting to know him. Um, and so, in this past year, I've gotten involved in a support group with it. I've got the podcast going. I've gone to and started getting involved with the OCD Foundation, which really feels good because I want to get out there. I want to get the word out there because I don't believe OCD is one that people understand, that they truly know what it's like, that it is a anxiety-driven disorder that plagues people, that takes over their lives. So I really want to get this out. So any word that you, my audience here, can get out about this, I would love to spread the word. Also would like to hear from you. I would love to see more comments come from this so that I can use this as fodder, as you might call it, for the future. What I can broadcast about, what I can get out there for you. What kind of message would you like to see out there about what you might be suffering or someone you love might be suffering? What kind of message is needed out there in the coming year to get out, to let people know about? What kind of experiences are you going through, or your family going through, or a loved one? I would love to hear those comments. That, again, helps me and helps the whole OCD world. So I hope that you'll enjoy this week of reminiscing or going back over some of the things we've played before. And I look forward to a whole new year in 2018 of more advocacy, more work towards getting the awareness out there of OCD. So enjoy this special recording, the special podcast week of the best of 2017. Enjoy. That concludes this podcast. Please leave me a comment or question below. That gives me good direction where to go on future podcasts. I would love to hear your invisible wheelchair stories if you're willing to share it. If you would, go to invisiblewheelchair.com and click on Tell Your Story. I want to remind you that OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, is treatable, and I can help you get past OCD. So if you have heard this podcast and others, and you feel like you need further assistance and would like to spend some time with me working through any issues you have, then feel free to book a session at focusedhealthyfamily.com or familyocd.com, or you can call me at 704-562-1630. I also offer $85 off initial discovery session if you mention that you heard it on this podcast. Finally, don't forget that there is a tapping recording that coincides with this podcast you may want to take advantage of. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast and will join me for the next one. Remember to keep tapping, talking, and transcending your life to new heights. Thank you, and have a great day.